The segment now, Entering the Ukrainian Economy Macro Picture. We invite Mr. Dmytro Natalucha, Member of Parliament, Chairman of the Economic Affairs Parliamentary Committee, to the stage.
Ladies and gentlemen, what a great pleasure to be here. A true privilege. Thank you very much for having me, having other Ukrainians here. It's really an honor to be addressing you here today, especially given the circumstances. Now, my name is Dmytro Natalucha. I am the chairman of the Committee for Economic Affairs of the Parliament of Ukraine. I am the guy who is extremely unlucky to be in charge of the economic policy in the Rada, in the Parliament of Ukraine in wartime. And I would like to thank you all once again for all the incredible support and assistance that Canada has been providing to Ukraine throughout this 9 months of war. Now, since day one, everyone was trying to wrap one's head around what is going on, why is it going on, and how to deal with it. People have been looking for inspiration in history books, in World War II documentaries, in some memoirs of some leaders or presidents. I found my inspiration in quantum physics. Now, this is a bit counterintuitive, and I'm not a physicist. I'm very bad at it, and nevertheless, I think it's fascinating in a way how this kind of approach describes exactly what has been happening. So I would kindly ask you to bear with me for just a couple of minutes. Revised in the way, the observation is the following: the impossibility of separating the properties of an object from the interactions in which these properties manifest themselves and the objects to which they are manifested. The properties of an object are the way in which it acts upon other objects. Reality is this web of interactions. Instead of seeing the physical world as a collection of objects with definite properties, quantum theory invites us to see the physical world as a net of relations. Objects are its nodes. There are no properties outside of interactions. Everything consists solely of the way in which it affects something else. Now, properties do not reside in objects, they are bridges between objects. Objects are such only with respect to other objects. They are nodes where bridges meet. The world is a perspectival game, a play of mirrors that exist only as a reflection of and in each other. Now, in brief, this means basically that nothing exists in itself, everything exists only through dependence on something else and in relation to something else. And the mirrors and the reflections that this fantastic physician, Carlo Rovelli, is mentioning, a play of mirrors that exist only as reflections of and in each other, is precisely what is happening throughout this 9 months. I think that Ukraine has become a mirror of bravery, of dignity, of courage, of endurance, a mirror in which the great nation of Canada has seen themselves, these qualities and those properties which helped this country to be forged throughout history. And those are precisely those properties, those features, and those characteristics that the Canadians might have seen in the Ukrainians throughout this 9 months of war. This is interesting how the relationships between Russia and Ukraine in these 9 months have also manifested the properties of Russia, its brutality, its barbarism, its incredible lack of empathy. So in a way, it's fantastic to think about a world where objects exist only when they relate to each other and interact with each other. And this is why we're here. This is why we understand that in assisting Ukraine, Canada manifests its best properties, its best features, its best qualities, its economic power, its empathy, its values, its democracy, its love to freedom, for the free spirit. And in the same way, it's fascinating to think about how, in relations with the world, Ukraine manifests itself as a member of the Western family, as a member, a long-time member of this community that has been cherishing the same qualities that we all share, the same standards of life, the same values that we all respect. Now, when I think about the economy, and we're here for it, this is precisely a thing I would like you to think about, and the point that Putin is trying to make. What is happening, actually, is not just a war, but it's a change of a mindset. What Russia is trying to prove is basically that economy does not matter. It doesn't matter whether your arms, your equipment, your tanks are sophisticated, they are modern or not. It doesn't matter how modern are your technologies. What matters, according to Putin, is the quantity of the people who can take the rifle at their hands. Now, he replaces the might and the strength of the economy with the mere possibility to outnumber someone with human capital. Basically, he cancels all kind of progress. He cancels all kind of technology. He cancels everything that has been really important and fundamental throughout the past century, maybe even a couple of centuries. He makes a point that I don't care whether your tanks are super new, super modern. I don't care how the missiles are smart. I don't care about your military smart technologies. I have 5 million people who are ready to take the rifles at hand, and therefore I am challenging you. Now, if he proves himself to be right, we will be living in a very dangerous world. And I think this is a world nobody wants to live in, because it means that countries that were investing heavily in progress, in technologies, in economy, and who have been influencing the events of this world throughout the economic power will be threatened and will be in danger. While countries that were not so good at technologies, at progress, at modernizing everything, but have a large span of population, they will be dictating and dominating the political scene. And this is the reason why this war is so important. This is not just about Ukraine proving something to Russia. This is not about just the neo-colonial aspects of Russia and its kind of historical trauma, wanting to take Ukraine away because it doesn't believe that it exists there. This is about proving that economy does matter. This is about proving that technologies do matter. This is about proving that progress matters. What doesn't matter is that you have some people who will take the primitive kind of weapons and just en masse will try to outnumber you. And this is why it is paramount for us to rebuild the economy of Ukraine, not just to push back Russia to its internationally recognized borders, because Ukrainian borders were never challenged. The Russian borders are, and we need to put Russia back at its internationally recognized borders, but also to rebuild and reconstruct Ukraine and to strengthen its economy, to prove once again and to manifest that economy is dominant in this world, that the economic power that one country or a number of countries yield is still the defining factor. Now, how are we going to do that, in my opinion, is not through a charity project, but through partnership. And this goes back to Carlo Rovelli, where he says that it's a matter of interactions, that reality is basically a set of interactions between objects. I think that the Marshall Plan everybody is being discussing lately is definitely lacking this perspective of partnership. We don't want this rebuilding process to be a charity project. We want to be partners with you. And for that reason, we want to be more pragmatic. We want to go government by government, company by company, and inquire whether there is something in the Ukrainian economy, which is destroyed by more than 40% now, unfortunately, that might be of your interest for your companies, for your capital to come to Ukraine and invest. Now, for you, this should be understood in terms of the profitability. For us, and I will be frank with you here, the presence of foreign capital in Ukrainian strategic industries is the best security guarantees one can provide. So we understand our skin in this game. We perfectly understand the perspectives we're dealing with, but we want you to understand your skin in this game, not just because of some metaphysical values that we share, which is of course crucial and important, but because we want you to be able to come back to your taxpayers and say, hey, I'm investing in Ukraine, we're doing a good thing, but we're also receiving good profits, and our jobs are being stimulated and created. And one last word, if I may, is that in the beginning of this war, the Ukrainian army has been put to a test. It passed the test. Now it's a different military army. It's venturous, it's daring, it's very strong. Now it's time for us as a civil society, as a business society, to pass this test. We are passing this test in cold apartments, in dark cities, in our cars without fuel in their tanks. But when this winter will be over, it's going to be a different nation, believe me. And not just Ukraine, but all of you who have agreed to resist tyranny, to resist this dictatorship, and to let democracy and freedom strive. Thank you very much.